here's the thing about romantic comedies. They always build up to this grand romantic gesture where the guy tries to win over the girl, and then they live happily ever after, right? Well, sometimes those grand romantic gestures can be pretty weird. Like when John Cusack is holding a boombox outside of a girl's window and say anything. Well, after watching so many romantic comedies in my high school career, I got the great idea to make a grand romantic gesture myself. It all started back in the summer after my junior year in high school, and it was at nerd camp. It was in the middle of the summer, and I was at Johns Hopkins, and basically all it was lectures about med school and visiting 2 hospitals, and that was 10 days of that, and that was it. It was really unremarkable. But on the last day, I met this girl named Lisa, and I don't know what it was that attracted me to her. It was probably what, typical teenage guys like, good personality, steady income, stuff like that, right? So anyways, we talked on the last day, we exchanged numbers, and then we parted ways. I went back home to Indiana, and then she went back home to this small town in Virginia. And over the next 3 weeks, we kind of were texting constantly. Not kind of, we were. I was staying up till like 5 or 6 in the morning because she had these night shifts at a retirement home, and we were just talking, and I had a really good time, and I learned a lot about her, right? So apparently she was having a really good time too, because one day I got this text from a number that I didn't have in my phone saying, "Hey, Lisa's told us a lot about you, and we think it'd be really great if you could come over and surprise her for her birthday." And I was like, who is this? I come to find out that it was her mom who was texting. Oh yeah, this is good. This is like every girl's dream where the not creepy guy comes to your house and surprises you for your 18th birthday. This is good. This is a good idea. I'm a reasonable guy, okay? So I'm not gonna go to Virginia just to surprise this girl. I mean, not because I don't want to, but because my parents wouldn't want me to. So I didn't tell Lisa about this exchange at all. We just kept texting day and night, all that stuff. And then this kind of became an issue because I was tired during the day and my parents were seeing me on my phone all the time. And my parents were really strict when I was in high school. So strict that my dad would look at our phone bill to see who I was texting and when I texted them. So he knew that I was wasting my time texting this girl just constantly from nerd camp that I hardly even knew. And he got really upset with me. He launched into this 2-hour lecture where he repeats himself over and over again. And I gotta say that I love my parents dearly. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am today without their love and support. But back in high school, I was all about, romance. So I was like really fed up. He was like telling me, if you don't focus, you're never gonna accomplish anything. You gotta work more on the SAT, which I already taken 25 practice tests for at that point. And then he was also saying like I gotta look at undergrad places to apply to, and I was just really overwhelmed. I wanted to be a normal kid. I wanted to, just live a little, right? So halfway through that lecture, I decided I was gonna make this trip to Virginia. After my dad finished this lecture, I went up to my room, packed a duffel bag, snuck it into my car, and then told my parents I was gonna drop off the package at the post office. And then I left. I got the address from Lisa's mom, put it into a GPS, which I'd stolen from my dad's car. And I just drove. And then about 2 hours in this drive, my parents called me, wondering where I was, naturally. And I told them that I just needed a break. I told them that I was going to go up to my friend's lake house up in Michigan, and I just couldn't do any of those things that my dad was telling me. I just needed a break. I needed some time. So I was really thrilled by this decision that I made. I was really excited. I was pumped up. I don't usually do these things to my parents. I mean, looking back, it's an awful thing. I had a child, so I can't imagine what I put them through. But romance, right? The rest of the 8 hours, I was really pumped up. I stopped once for gas, and that was it. I don't even think I stopped to eat. I had my windows rolled down, and I was blasting my Kid Cudi mix, which was like 80 minutes of all Kid Cudi. The entire rest of the 8 hours. So it was really fun. It was great. I got to Lisa's house just after midnight. It was pitch black out. and she wasn't even home. She had another night shift. So her mom let me in, I stayed in the guest room, fell asleep, woke up in the morning to her footsteps coming up the stairs. And I was like, oh man, this is it. This is a big romantic moment, right? This is going to be great. And then all of a sudden the footsteps go the opposite direction. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is fine. Everything's okay, I'm sure. And apparently she was so tired from her shift that she didn't see my car parked in the front driveway with the Indiana license plates. So she fell asleep, I guess, whatever. But then a few minutes later, I guess she realized it and then came running down the hall. And then barged into my room and jumped onto my bed. I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. And then after that, I was like, oh man, this is like where rom-coms end, you know? This is like the credits. What do I do next? The next few days were so unremarkable, I don't even remember. What did we do? We ate meals around town. We sat outside of her pool, and then we hung out in her bed watching. All we did was watch Dance Moms. Like 20 plus hours of Dance Moms over these 3 days. It's a really good show. It was completely unremarkable. The most memorable thing about this entire trip was on her 18th birthday when they were giving her gifts. They called us downstairs, and I saw the dining table. It was just covered in gifts. I was like, oh my God, they got her 18 gifts for her birthday. And it's not like 18 small gifts for her birthday, or even like one big gift and 17 small gifts. It's like 18 normal gifts. I can't even ask my parents for like 18 things in my lifetime. So, I was kind of starting to realize that she's a little spoiled, I'm a really big fan of that. But like, that wasn't even the biggest thing. Like when she was opening one of her presents, she got really upset and threw this fit. I don't know what was wrong with it, but she got really upset. And I kind of like, started getting disenchanted with her. I wasn't the biggest fan. And then, okay, so fast forward to later that night. I was texting one of my friends from back home, and I said, man, this girl's kind of crazy. In reference to this 18 gift fiasco thing. And unfortunately, I left my phone in the restroom. She picked it up, saw the text, and wow, you guys are really gassy. She read the text and then proceeded to get very, very upset with me. And I was like, hey, this is nothing that like a 3-day relationship can't handle. So, next thing I know, 5 minutes later, I'm aimlessly driving around this small town in Virginia because she kicked me out. And it's well past 10 o'clock at night, so I can't drive home. And I'm just kind of reflecting myself at this point, like, where did this relationship go wrong? I had no idea, everything was going so well. I just showed up, and I was a big gift, whatever. It's fine. I realized that I had to go back and apologize to her one more time, at least. I also needed somewhere to stay the night. Right. So I go back, I ask Lisa's mom if I can stay the night, she lets me. And then I wake up in the morning, and then I apologize to Lisa again. And it didn't really feel like it was enough, So I took this carved wooden pig out of my duffel bag, and it's like this gift that my uncle gave me from China. It's like, it has a lot of cultural significance, and I was like, maybe this can fix the relationship. There's something salvageable here, right? Something worth salvaging. And so I gave it to her. Oh, also, Lisa liked to collect pigs. Like if you were to walk into her room, it'd just be like a bunch of porcelain pigs and like piggy banks and stuffed pigs. It was her thing, it's fine. But I don't know what she did with it. She probably threw it out. But yeah, that was the end of my trip to Virginia. So on the drive back, it was all reflection. I was just thinking about how poorly this rom-com turned out. I thought it was a universal sign of happily ever after when somebody jumps in your bed. Right? Apparently not. I really wish that movies showed you the after part after the happily ever after. I might have not made such a horrible decision to go there. But honestly, what guy drives 10 hours to see a girl they hardly know? I mean, it was just so embarrassing. I was like, so humiliated. I felt so desperate, which it was desperate. And I don't know. But also, what mom invites girls been texting to her 18th birthday party and like to spend the time, the 3 days with her family? And like I was literally a gift to her. Okay, so back to reality. I get this text saying, "Warning, your phone is being tracked by," and then it listed my dad's phone. And I freaked out. I like took apart my phone, took out the battery, took out the SIM card, and then the entire last hour, I was just freaking out. I had no idea what was coming for me when I got home because, you know, my dad literally just got done lecturing me on focusing so that I can achieve my goals, right? And then I just ran away, essentially, and like spent time with this girl. So I was so afraid, in fact, that when I got back in town, I didn't even go home. I spent the night with my friend, and then I spent the day with my friend. And then I finally decided, you know what, I'm not going to be able to avoid this, so I decided to face the music. I drove home, parked in the driveway, got to the garage door, turned the doorknob, walked in, and I was hit by my dad's voice. He says, "What do you want for dinner?" And we haven't spoken a word about the trip to this day.